This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Misplaced all my love and way of thinking, carried in the current of last year. Help me, Anthony. My mistakes are finally catching up. I ignored the simple acts of love. Let them rust all bundled up with grief. I am sick of seeing all the times I chose the lie.
Rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you know it. It does not matter who the host is on this show. Anyways, today is Thursday, March the 16th. That's like an Austin 316 day. It is the 75th day of the year and only 290 days left to go. We are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, so you don't have to worry about that. And we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place.
Radio USA, Canada, UK.
Oh yes, hanging out with our friends at RadioBig.fm because that's the iHeart Radio side of the house, just in case. That is the TuneIn side of the house. I think Safety FM's on TuneIn. Man, it's a cluster trying to keep up with everything that's going on. So as we are talking, how has the last 23 hours or so been for you since we last hung out, depending if you cut off right after the Rated R Safety Show or depending on what you were doing. So a lot of stuff has been going on, taking a look around. Anyways, I thought it was interesting. Yesterday I had some people reaching out like, who violated your trust? Blah, blah, blah. I have no trust issues. This seemed like a very topical topic to talk about what was going on inside of the worldo. I mean, why else? We wouldn't talk about something else, would we? I thought that would be important to talk about. I mean, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you talk about the things that are going on? I mean, I would imagine that would be the case. So let's talk. If you want to interact with the show, it's an easy process to do so. You go to callinradio.com. That'll get you inside of the streamer portion of the whole thing. You get to actually do the chat. You get to do the video. You get to do the audio. Hopefully I pay attention to whatever the hell's going on because those things are important. And then we get you moving and grooving. It's a simple process to get you into the system. And then from that particular point, we move forward. Yes, we move forward and do all kinds of other fun stuff. Talk about stuff, poke fun at the bear. I have to tell you, I have some things that I have been currently working on behind the scenes that at this particular point, I can't talk about. And once I actually have ink to paper, my big mouth will open up and talk to you about what the hell's going on, where we can chuckle about some things together. And if it doesn't happen, well, it'll be kind of weird because this will be a lost moment in time of us talking about some things. Anyways, with that being said, let's talk real quick about what the hell was trending and what is going to be on the Tapper Rapper.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so NASA unveils a new generation of space boots and space suits as they are, and a driver takes a freezing cold swim into a new world record. We'll talk about that in the shit list. The House pursues a record of Hunter Biden at the art sales, while Treasury Department hands over essential bank records. We'll talk a little bit more about that if we decide to get swampy. J.K. Rowling says there has no regrets about defending her beliefs, and Joe Exotic is running for president. Is he running from president from prison? I mean, I want to know. And Pat McAfee may be moving on from fan fuel, and Quentin Tarantino could soon retire from movie making. We can talk all about that if you are interested in talking about it. So our show here, if you have not hung out with us before, it's a simple little process. We talk about safety in the news and safety. We piss people off. We make some people happy, and we have fun during the whole time. Some of us have a little bit more fun than others, that is for sure. And it's your show, and we kind of do whatever the hell you want to do and go from there. Yes, the question always comes up of, well, will you do this? Will you do that? If there's enough people interested, we'll pretty much do a lot of things around here. That is for sure. So we bring in some professional broadcasters. They talk about what the hell's going on inside of the world, and then we go from there. Kind of a simple thing, kind of an interesting thing, and we just go. So with that being said, let's bring in the pros, and let's get moving and grooving right away, because that's what we do around here. We get you into some news.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Mark Mayfield. Pro-choice advocates are not optimistic about a Texas judge's forthcoming decision in a case regarding abortion pills. A U.S. district judge heard arguments Wednesday in an anti-abortion group's lawsuit to overturn the FDA's approval of abortion pills. In addition to a complete ban, the Alliance for Hippocratic Medicine is requesting a preliminary injunction to remove one part of the two-drug procedure from the market while the case is being heard. A senior advisor at Planned Parenthood Texas points to the judge's background as a reason pro-choice advocates can expect the worst. Prior to his appointment by former President Trump, the judge represented a conservative Christian group that had objected to a clause in the Affordable Care Act requiring employers to cover their workers' birth control. The president is laying out his plans to lower prescription drug costs. Trey Thomas reports.
While speaking to healthcare professionals in Las Vegas, Biden highlighted provisions in the Inflation Reduction Act that are starting to take effect.
We passed historic laws to get that done. And now we're moving quickly to implement those laws so people can feel the effects of what we did.
I'm Trey Thomas.
House Republicans moved forward with a congressional hearing at the U.S.-Mexico border yesterday, despite the absence of Democrats. Lisa Taylor has more.
Tennessee Congressman Mark Green, the chair of the House Homeland Security Committee, questioned U.S. Border Patrol Chief Raul Ortiz as part of the hearing in Pharr, Texas, near the border. In response to a question from Green on if the Department of Homeland Security had operational control of the entire border, Ortiz replied, no. Democratic members of the committee boycotted the hearing, claiming the Republicans were only trying to score political points, holding it outside of Washington, D.C. I'm Lisa Taylor.
And get your brackets ready. March Madness kicks into high gear Thursday as first-round action takes place across the U.S. Over the next 2 days, the NCAA men's basketball tournament will shrink from 64 to 32 teams. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
We are now video streaming the Rated R Safety Show. I don't know why our host has a face for radio. Rated R Safety Show.
From FSN in London, I'm Nina Maria Potts with the latest world headlines. Credit Suisse has secured a lifeline from the Swiss Central Bank. It will borrow up to $54 billion to boost liquidity and investor confidence after a slump in its shares sparked global fears. North Korea has fired more rockets ahead of a meeting between the leaders of Japan and South Korea. And federal investigators are reportedly expanding their Trump investigation, examining whether his social media company violated money laundering statutes.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
A new poll shows former President Trump with a commanding lead in the 2024 Republican presidential primary. Brian Shook reports.
He gets 46% support from GOP and GOP-leaning voters. In the latest Quinnipiac University poll, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis earned 32%, even though he hasn't officially said he's running. Trump has increased his lead over DeSantis since a February poll, which had his margin at just 6 points. I'm Brian Shook.
The Biden administration is threatening a nationwide ban on TikTok if the Chinese-owned app isn't sold. That's according to a TikTok spokesperson who notes the company is disappointed in the outcome about the demand. The popular video-sharing app is used by more than 100 million Americans. There's concern the company could harvest and supply sensitive data on U.S. users to the Chinese government. Multiple state governments and Congress have banned the app from government devices. A new report says California Governor Gavin Newsom and his family had deep business ties to the now failed Silicon Valley Bank. Nika Magas has the story.
The Intercept reports Newsom maintained personal accounts at the bank for years, and at least 3 of his wineries have financial ties as well. The report also says the bank president sits on the board of his wife's charity, and that a Silicon Valley Bank executive made a $100,000 donation to the California Partners Project, a charity founded by Jennifer Siebel Newsom. A spokesperson for the governor's office told the SF Gate that the governor's financial holdings are managed in a blind trust. GOP leaders are challenging Newsom to turn over any further state dealings with the SVB bailout to the lieutenant governor and ask the state attorney general to review the matter for any law violations.
And Kanye West not facing charges after grabbing and throwing a photographer's phone in January. The singer was filmed reaching into the photographer's car before grabbing and tossing the phone into the street. The photographer involved in the incident has decided not to press charges. Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobile.io. That's mobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello. Olivia from Washington. Laid off and trying to keep our little kids from realizing that mommy and daddy haven't eaten in a while.
Roger from California. I'm grateful we could afford our son's surgery. I'm nervous that now we can't really afford food.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Donna from Louisiana. The storm just hit, and we went from donating to the food bank to needing it.
Keisha from South Carolina. I've been skipping meals so my 2 kids can eat, but filling up on water doesn't really work.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
It's a new year, but it's feeling harder than ever to find and hire qualified people you need, especially for small businesses. That's where LinkedIn Job comes in. They make it easier to find people you want to talk to faster and for free. You can create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 770 million people. Focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience and use screening questions to get your role in front of the most qualified people. Then use the simple tools on LinkedIn Jobs to quickly filter and prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs number one in delivering qualified hires versus leading competitors. I have to tell you that we have used LinkedIn Jobs to even find some of the people that we have here at Safety FM. LinkedIn Jobs can help you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know that every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your jobs for free on linkedin.com/safetyfm. That's linkedin.com/safetyfm to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. And don't forget to tell them that you heard it right here on Safety FM.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show self-implode on our airwaves only on Safety FM.
Okay, so there you go. We are currently 15 minutes past the top of the hour as we are hanging and banging on this terrific Thursday. Yes, so let's get into the shit list because that's going to be important as we talk, move, and groove. A lengthy Time magazine article exposes the obvious red flags that were flying over Sam Bankman-Fried's fraud based on 7 of the recorded interviews and documents reviewed by the publication. Worth noting, one of SBF's endearing qualities was an shucks approach to wealth, that he was a whiz kid who effortlessly fundraising billions and could earn even more money through facilitating cryptocurrency trades, and that he was keen on giving away much of the hard-earned money that he had earned as part of the movement called effective altruism. The kind of philanthropy that meant to shoveling millions of dollars towards pets, causes, benefactors that appear to have been all too willing to turn a blind eye to the warning signs in order to keep the spigot open. I mean, do you blame them? Per Times reporting, 2 people that had worked closely with SBF were warned that he was untrustworthy and had inappropriate sexual relations with subordinates, refused to implement standard of business practices, and had been caught lying during the first months running for the Alameda crypto firm that was seeded by the effective altruism investors, staffed by effective altruists, and dedicating to their money that could be donated to effective altruism causes. It also is it's an open secret that SBF took shortcuts and fudged accounting numbers, especially when it came to mixing assets for trading, the core issue of the heart of FTX implosion. So there you go. Cryptocurrency blended in with some moolah issues, and there you go. We got the nice little disaster of what the hell is going on there.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, ByteDance, the Chinese company that makes TikTok, just got a major investment from the son of the founder of the United Arab Emirates, Tahoon bin Zadar. Here's the thing. Tahoon is the UAE's national security advisor. It's a chief spy. So TikTok is already facing scrutiny over using the app to spy on American journalists and faces a regulatory ban in the U.S. and getting cozy with a money flush rush from the royals who especially do espionage creates dangerous, unholy alliance. So what the hell's going to happen there? I mean, I don't know. Are you a big TikToker? What I always find that's interesting is the people that do this, because I always find it weird. I find it weird that they do this, that they will post a TikTok and nobody's really looking at it on TikTok. So then they decide to go to the LinkedIns of the world, the Facebooks of the world, the Twitters of the world, all the other social media platforms to post their TikTok. If I didn't want to see your damn TikTok because I'm not on TikTok, why do I need to see it on the other social medias, on the other rails? I mean, it makes no sense to me. Or here I am on this social media platform. Follow me on this other social media platform because it's important that your social media is on my media from the other media. And what drives me even crazier is when people do this number. Let me communicate with you via text messaging, email, some social media app, and then I'm supposed to keep track on what the hell's going on. It's like, dude, let's just pick one source and go from there. I'm not hunting your ass down. I mean, I just don't get it. I know it's probably my old man rant for the moment, but geez, I just don't get it. Especially when it deals with clients. It's like, you think I'm paying attention to all the shit that you're sending? I mean, it drives me kind of bonkers. Anyways, take a listen to this. A Czech man has broken free from diving record with a wetsuit, plunging nearly 171 feet below the frozen surface of the Switzerland Lake Seals, retrieving a sticker that was planted on a lake bed and returning it to the surface in a single breath. The water was slightly colder than 40 degree air temperature. The 40-year-old man, David Vinci, accomplished the feat on Tuesday in 1 minute 54 seconds, a time that his coach says is a bit longer than expected. When Vinci reached the surface, he had a spat of blood, heaved a deep sigh, and popped a bottle of champagne to celebrate. A post-dive medical evaluation showed that Vinci was doing just fine. So hold on. You're telling me this dude did this in 1 minute 54 seconds, and the coach turns around and goes, that was a bit longer than expected. Your ass was up there waiting. You weren't doing it. So you're going to complain about this dude? I mean, and here's my other question. If he wouldn't have made it, who the hell was diving in for the guy? Like, was there people with tanks ready to go? Because, I mean, that sounds a little dangerous.
We are radio. We are sarcasm. We are both combined. Radio Big.
Okay, archaeologists have identified a dinosaur that believed to have been the longest neck ever discovered in an animal. Yeah, and I'm gonna butcher this. Let's see, the Manchichaurus sinacarum. Yeah, why don't we even go with these names? Had a neck extending more than 15 meters, 6 times longer than a giraffe. That's a long neck there. The species was common in a modern-day China more than 160 million years ago. So there you go, some stuff going on there. Anyways, NASA has unveiled the design of the suits that the astronauts will wear when they once again set foot on the moon in the next couple of years. The black suit with orange-blue accents was designed by Axiom Space near Houston. The suit promotes flexibility on movement and expanded range of motion, plus the helmet design will maximize visibility. I feel like it's very inspired by by being able to move like the bat suit for Michael Keaton many moons ago. So there you go. So I'm going to give you some recommended reading for today. Not a lot of stuff that we normally talk about, but artificial intelligence technology seems to improve by the week following the release of ChatGPT late last year. OpenAI is back with a new and improved version, GPT-4. They say that it can ace advanced placement tests and the LSAT. Think about that for a moment. What all can these things do? Ooh, the AI is taking over. I mean, look at it from that particular fashion in regards to what's going on there. So let's get into the swamp for a moment. The Republican-led House Committee of Oversight and Accountability wants to know who made the money when Hunter Biden sold his artwork through the New York Gallery last year. Committee Chairman James Comer from Kentucky tells the New York Post that it's deeply concerning that the president's son continues to sell his amateurish work to anonymous purchasers for sky-high prices. Or noting the exact prices of any sales have not been publicly disclosed, nor have they been identified by any of the buyers. Meanwhile, the Treasury Department is handing over suspicious activity reports to the same committee. These reports are generated when suspicious amounts of money are transferred into a bank account of American citizens from questionable sources. So far, the Biden administration has stonewalled these requests. So there you go. It's just some general information on what is going on. Anyways, with that being said, it is 23 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's bring some John Smalls inside of here and let him tell us what's going on with Market Beat.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Wednesday, March 15th, brought to you by GenesisGoldIRA.com. Equity markets rebounded Tuesday following Monday's plunge after CPI data came in as expected and increased expectations for the Fed to hike rates by only 25 basis points at the next meeting. The CPI data shows cooling, but its quality is dubious as inflation remains hot and core inflation accelerated compared to the previous month. In this light, the FOMC should not be expected to let up on economic pressure, even with with signs of distress in the financial sector. It is those signs of distress the FOMC needs to see to know its policies are working. The next FOMC meeting is only a week away. Retail sales will be the news of the day as they're expected to fall by 0.4% and may come below expectations. In this scenario, the outlook for retail sales and revenue in the discretionary sector will take another hit and drag the outlook for the S&P 500. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, John Smalls, for the information, because, that's always going to be important. So take a listen to this. The Dow lost about 280 points to close at 31,874 on Wednesday. The S&P lost about 27 points to close at 3,891. The NASDAQ added about 5 points to close at 11,434. And West Texas Intermediate closed at $68 a barrel. Brent crude was at $74 a barrel. The average national price of a gallon of gas was $3.46. Bitcoin slid over 1% on Wednesday, trading just under $24,500. Okay, and here we go again with another disastrous day at the airport. There was more than 4,920 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States, with about 250 cancellations. Friday night's Mega Million drawing will be for $254 million jackpot, or a $133.7 million cash payout. So, what do you think? Would you play the game if you had the opportunity to? Because I think you might have the opportunity to. So anyways, let's continue talking. A new survey of all 50 states shows that Iowa is one of the least dependent states for the federal government.
If the federal government were to fold tomorrow, Iowa would be pretty okay. States that are most federally dependent include Alaska, West Virginia, Mississippi. So there are certainly states that really are much more reliant on the federal government.
Jill Gonzalez with Wallet Hub, she says that Iowa ranks the 8th least federal dependent state. The state most dependent on federal government is Alaska. A national survey from Wallet Hub shows that Iowa is the 8th least federal dependent state. Take a listen.
When looking at which states are federally independent or dependent, it comes down to three metrics. That's the state residence dependency, so return on taxes paid to the federal government, the share of federal jobs, and what does the federal funding as a share of state revenue look like?
Jill with Gonzalez with Wallet Hub says that the federal funding is a small percentage of the overall state revenue as opposed to the federal dependent states such as Alaska, West Virginia, Mississippi. Wallet Hub says that Iowa is the least federal dependent in the country, but along with that,
Iowans are not getting a big return on taxes paid to the federal government. So just for some context here, Alaska, for instance, gets about $6 back for every $1 they pay in taxes. Iowans, not so much. They get around 80 cents back on their dollar.
So, Jill with Wallet Hub, the recent national survey ranked that Iowa was the 8th least federal dependent state, while Alaska ranks number 1 on the most dependent state of the federal government. So, does this encourage you? Yeah, that's the question. Does this encourage you to want to move to Iowa? So, keeping it in Iowa for a moment, Governor Kim Reynolds' government recognition proposal is ready for her signature. The bill passed through Iowa House yesterday. Take a listen.
We're going to streamline state government. We're going to save taxpayer dollars. We're going to create efficiencies. And with all of that, we are going to better serve all of Iowans.
Okay, the House Minority Leader, Jennifer Confirst, says the proposal shifts the balance of power in the state government.
The governor is calling this a realignment bill. It is frankly a power grab. It gives the governor control over currently independent offices and agencies and gives her more power to appoint friends who are not required to have experience or expertise.
The proposal is estimated to save the state about $12 million annually by reducing the number of state agencies from 37 to 16. House Minority Leader Jennifer Confirst shifts the balance of power in state government.
The governor spent $1 million to an out-of-state consultant to develop a plan to consolidate state government. I was not on it. None of you were either. It's a 1,500-page bill, and it's been clear she did not listen to any Iowans about how to make state government work better for them.
The proposal is estimated to save about $12 million annually by reducing the number of the state agencies from 37 to 16. So I guess we'll take a look and see what happens here in the very near future. Coming out of Los Angeles, too, union representing the 65,000 Los Angeles Unified School District employees are expected to go on a 3-day strike starting Tuesday. Union leaders announced their intentions at the rally on Wednesday.
Are you ready to shut us down? Are you ready to
to shut it down. You ready to walk out? We are walking out on Tuesday.
Okay, LAUSD Superintendent Alberto Cavallo says the schools will have to shut down during these 3 days. The SEIU Local 99 represented about 30,000 cafeteria workers, bus drivers, custodians, special education assistants, and other employees. United Teachers Los Angeles represents about 35,000 teachers, counselors, therapists, nurses, and librarians. Both unions are made in the middle of the contract negotiation. SEIU Local 99 says its negotiations with the LAUSD have stalled. LAUSD Superintendent Alberto Cavallo says that he's still willing to negotiate with the union reps.
I commit myself 24/7, day and night, along their teams and our team to find a solution that will avert a strike, will avoid keeping kids home.
Yeah, I mean, that would probably be a good idea to do that before we get to this point. I mean, that would be probably something to talk about. Just throwing that out there as an idea. Just think about that for a moment. Anyways, coming out of California, because for some reason this seems to be important, all you can eat is decisively an American phenomenon. It's game on. Bree Tennis has more.
How much lobster can you eat in one sitting? Red Lobster would like to know. They're offering Endless Lobster March 28th at one of their 662 restaurants. That's the catch. The restaurant is in Times Square, New York. You need a reservation to participate, and you can make it through eventbrite.com on March 21st. First come, first served. I'm Bree Tennis, NBC News Radio.
So let's talk about that for a moment. Would you go to Times Square to go to Red Lobster for all you can eat lobster? Because that's not going to be the default location that I would think to go to for that. Anyways, let's talk about this real quick. St. Patrick's Day is tomorrow, always on the 17th. Bree Tennis has more.
The date celebrates the death of Patrick, the patron saint of Ireland, who was actually British. There are tall tales he drove the snakes out of Ireland, but the truth is there never were snakes in Ireland. Oh, and it's Paddy with a D, not a T. That's an Irish thing. Most Irish will celebrate quietly at a local pub with native music and a pint, and they don't wear green. That's bad luck. In the States, it's all about the green. We drink green beer, we toss dye into our rivers, and eat corned beef. That's American too. And if you do identify as Irish for St. Patrick's Day, know that the Paddy Wagon will be on the lookout. I'm Bree Tennis, NBC News Radio.
So there you go. Probably a lot of knowledge about St. Paddy's Day that you do not have. No, seriously, think about that for a moment. Because how much information was just told to you about this? I mean, it's kind of a weird one when you start really thinking about a lot of stuff. Anyways, it is 32 minutes past the top of the hour, so it might be time to do that thing that we do around this time. And if you're not sure on what that thing is that we do, don't worry. I'm going to take you on the journey right now for us to do this together.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
So, you know that we talk about all kinds of strange shit on this show because there is no doubt about it. I love to talk about topics that are important, not so important, super important, sometimes that are things that make you go, what the hell is going on today? And I think that today might be what the hell kind of scenario. And that's okay, because it doesn't all have to be, the super importante stuff, but it's stuff to think about, and it's stuff to talk about, and it's stuff to make you go, how did that work out? And that's what we're going to talk about today. Do you ever think that it might be possible to out-hustle the hustler? Do you think it's possible to do your work better than your person that you're working for? Do you think that it's better sometimes to be able to do stuff than where you're actually doing work for? So imagine that you're in some business setting, but you do the business so much better than the setting that you're in, that your company's more interested in the stuff that you're doing than anything else. Now, think about how weird that is. Or imagine that you have a service provider that you buy from, and you're repackaging their service under your own brand, but all of a sudden, the service provider is so intrigued by what you're doing that they want to buy your company out. Well, that's kind of the story to tell, to talk about today. Now, you might be familiar with this particular gentleman, megastar, superstar, whatever the hell you want to call him, but Ryan Reynolds from Deadpool fame. Ryan Reynolds has sold his cell phone company, Mint Mobile, to T-Mobile. I don't know if you've heard this, but T-Mobile has entered into an agreement to acquire Craner's Corporation, the parent company of Ryan Reynolds' minority-owned prepaid wireless service, Mint Mobile, for a maximum of up to, are you ready for this? $1.35 billion, and that's with a B, $billion. Reynolds will continue the creative role of the spokesperson of the company, and in true Reynolds fashion, his statement about the deal was, well, creative. They were also so happy that T-Mobile beat out an aggressive last-minute bid from the mom, Tammy Reynolds, that he said inside of the release, as we believe that it will be excellent for the 5G network and will provide better strategic fit than my mom's slightly above average Mahong skills. Now, all joking aside, as we're talking about this, think about this for a moment. Ryan Reynolds invested into a company, bought portion of the network of T-Mobile, or really you're renting the service. And all of a sudden, it went so well, that all of a sudden T-Mobile, where he's renting the service from, that he's selling at a lower rate. And believe me, this is not a T-Mobile commercial or a Mint Mobile commercial, but he was able to sell it back to the service provider. Think about that. So, is he a hustler? Probably not. Is he hustling to do better work? Probably, in regards of doing it. So could you call him a hustler? I guess so. But think about that. If you're doing work so well that the people that you are in business with want to buy the portion of what you're doing, that has to tell you something. And I know that sometimes we sit around and go, can you live that idealistic dream? Can you do these weird things? And some assholes might end up telling you, oh, it's pie in the sky. But it's not pie in the sky. Sometimes people will pay attention to the work that you're doing. It's in those moments where nobody's watching and you turn around and still do all the work that needs to be done. Those things are important. And if you think about it, if you work at a place where the people that run the company expect you to work harder than they do when you're an employee and not running the company, it might be a weird place to work at. But sometimes when you work harder than the people that run the joint, things do pay off. I'm not going to say it's every time, but this is a weird story. And I saw this yesterday afternoon, and I was like, how do we talk about this? And some people will go, well, this doesn't tie into safety. This doesn't tie into this. But remember, you're in the world of business, regardless on how you want to look at it, good, bad, or indifferent. So what could you do today that all of a sudden the people that you work for are so intrigued by what you're doing that they want to know exactly the ins and outs of everything? Think about it. Those things are important. If that's something to think about today, that might be the important one for sure to think about.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with home title lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around,
They help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for the... And there they go. Almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/
the right seat. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Look through your children's eyes to see the true magic of a forest. It's a storybook world for them. You look and see a tree. They see the wrinkled face of a wizard with arms outstretched to the sky. They see treasure in pebbles. They see a windy path that could lead to adventure. And they see you, their fearless guide through this fascinating world.
Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacky? Safety trainers still preaching a warped version. How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
We're rocking all day at work because we don't give a duck. Autocorrect probably just saved my ass there.
Like I give a flying, you know.
It's this show, and they just make fun of a whole bunch of people. It's just too funny. It's too stupid.
Rated R Safety Show.
And tired of being reminded of my measured time to make things right.
Okay, you are still in the mix of things. This is hour one of the Jay Allen in the Morning Show as we dub over the Rated R Safety Show. This little song right here that you're taking a listen to, this is called St. Anthony. This is by Joel Porter. And like I say all the time, we're just not one genre. We do a little bit of everything. Doesn't get more folksy than this. Man with the guitar. There you go. Yeah, 43 minutes past. Safety FM Radio Big. We're still broadcasting on there. At the top of the hour, we will be going over there to Radio Big exclusively. I would love for you to go take a little stream, a little download on Apple Music, Spotify, or YouTube Music of St. Anthony by Joel Porter. Would like to thank Joel for allowing us to play this here.
I'm sick of writing songs that make my father cry.
So there you go.
So why am I compelled to write with words of slide?
So let's get back into the move and the groove of the things that we have going on, because that's going to be all importante as we are doing our fun stuff. No, seriously. I mean, I don't know. I always look at some of this stuff and it's like, what genre of music do people always think that we're going to listen to? because we listen to a little bit of everything. But of course, we kind of rock out around here, so it's kind of difficult to say that that's going to be the only thing that we stick to, and that's okay. Anyways, let's talk about the most important part of that we're ever going to talk about in regards to this show. That's for sure. So let me tell you real quick about my friends at 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. They can help you prevent suicide. The Lifeline provides 24/7 free and confidential support for people in distress prevention and crisis resources for you and your loved ones, and best practices for professionals in the United States. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to 988lifeline.org. That's 988lifeline.org. Or you can text the word TALK to 988 or call 988. That will get you moving and grooving in regards to getting everything set up. So there you go. That's what you need to do if you're running into any kind of problems or know somebody who's in any kind of level of distress. That would be the best way to communicate and find out what is going on, where they can receive help. That's for sure. Let's continue talking real quick about some other things that are going on inside of this little world of ours. Let's talk about some sweet dreams. Yeah, sweet dreams are made of these, that's for sure. We've all had breakfast cereal, but how about bedtime cereal? Post, the makers of Raisin Bran and Fruity Pebbles, has launched a new line of cereal that it wants you to enjoy as part of your evening sleep routine. Sweet Dreams consists of crunchy flakes and almonds, but if you read the box, it also includes notes of lavender, plus vitamins and minerals intended to help you sleep. The company is aiming to help people establish healthy nighttime habits by providing nutrients-dense before-bed snack that supports your sleep routine. Health experts have noted that Sweet Dreams also contains about 13 grams of added sugar, which they can be detrimental to your sleep. So Sweet Dreams comes in two flavors, Blueberry Midnight and Honey Moonglow. So maybe they should just call it Dreams and take out the 13 grams of added sugar. So if you're having cereal before bed, what do you eat in the early morning? A bag of chips? I mean, that's something to think about. And as long as you still put whiskey in it, I don't care what the cereal you have and what time it is, because I mean that's going to be a whole different thing.
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, take a listen to this. The intel on artificial intelligence and with the recent buzz of ChatGPT, the subject of AI, artificial intelligence, is the popular topic these days. In fact, Pew Research Center in the U.S. found that fully about 25% of adults say that they've heard a lot about AI, but Pew also asked about AI pitfall and found that 38% of responders were more concerned than excited about it. About only 15% were more excited, and about 46% said that they would feel both emotionally equally. And that it would be a positive sign, a stronger one's knowledge of AI, and the more excited about it that they are. Very confusing. Just because those people know that it can write an essay for them, at least I know that AI will never take my job, because only an idiot would work for what they're paying me around here. No, seriously, just think about it in that fashion. You have nothing to worry about.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
So there you go, some stuff. So let's not mess this up like we did yesterday. Let's get some John Smalls inside of here. Let's let him tell you about what's going on with the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Joe. Alpha said, "I'll just take a minute and remind you that we only have one lifetime on this earth. It zooms by, and it's over before you know it. So don't waste a precious second living in mediocrity. Go after what gives you goosebumps." I love that. This was actually shared by my little brother. I love that guy. I encourage everyone to go after the things that give you goosebumps. If you find a way to make a living doing something that you not only enjoy, but something you truly are passionate about and love doing, it will seem as though you don't even work. Because work is not really that much work. It's a joy to go to work. Find something that gives you goosebumps. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlysaMorgan.com. Timing matters, including timing of post-training activities. It is recommended to avoid cold immersions such as ice baths or being in cold water within the 4 hours after a training session that's designed to evoke an adaptation to either endurance or hypertrophy, meaning muscle growth. This is because the inflammation you experience from a workout is the stimulus by which you're going to achieve muscle growth. Cold water reduces inflammation and can short-circuit some of the training benefits. However, heat can be done immediately after training, and it's actually beneficial because of the way it dilates vascular system and delivers more nutrients to muscles. This is why it is recommended to spend more time in sauna after a workout session and leave cold procedures for a different time. For more, check out alessamorgan.com.
Another pitfall of our society. Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, yes, definitely pitfalling as we are hanging out. It is 50 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this Thursday. So that's for sure. So let's talk real quick about some things that are coming up because that's what we need to do. If you have not taken a look at this, you might want to give it a little gander-ander if you're on the video side. If you're on the audio side, let's talk about it. Safety Worlds Collide taking place May the 9th and the 10th. You can come hang out with Brett Sutton, Sam Goodman, and myself in Phoenix, Arizona. Yes, that's Phoenix, Arizona. If you want to come and hang out and do the things that we get to do, we're going to be talking about some different aspects on what's going on inside of the world of safety and how those worlds can collide with each other. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to safetyfm.io. That will be an in-person event, just in case you were wondering, if you want to come and hang out and take a look-see on what is going on. Would love to see you there in Phoenix, Arizona. So don't worry about that. So a lot of stuff going on inside of that neck of the woods. And anyways, I guess I will start talking about this shortly, but not yet. I guess not yet. But we did seem to have a lot of people come out, hang out at our event last week in Santa Fe, New Mexico. There is some plans for another event coming up, and we'll probably be looking close to the end of the year. Not that far into the end of the year, but we'll do it in the third. Well, let's see. We'll do it in the fourth quarter. We'll probably do another one in the fourth quarter. We'll talk about it coming up, so don't worry. We'll start doing all that funner stuff because that's what we do. We talk about some of these things. Anyways, let's get into some more news because I think you're going to want to know about what is going on. Let's talk about Arizona's officials say a train carrying hazardous materials has derailed near California border. Take a listen to this.
The Mojave County Sheriff's Office says a train derailed near Interstate 40 north of Lake Havasu City. So far, there's been no sign that any potentially dangerous chemicals were spilled, and no injuries or deaths have been reported. The cause of the derailment is unknown. Federal authorities and the BNSF Railway are investigating. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Okay, thank you, Mark Mayfield, for that one. The Federal Board of Oversees the Freight Rail Industry is allowing a proposed merger by two of the freight railroads. The Surface Transportation Board on Wednesday approved the merger of Kansas City Southern and Canadian Pacific Railway. People like Mike Cox, living near the railroad tracks operated by Kansas City Southern, hopes their quality of life isn't impacted by the railroad merger.
Almost every morning, he hits the horn about halfway down the park and just lays on it all the way through. Depending on how many trains come through, it's going to be a lot worse.
The merger comes as the freight rail industry is getting a lot of critical attention. Regulators and some of the members of Congress are demanding more stringent safety requirements after the February 3rd derailment in Norfolk Southern Freight train in East Palestine, Ohio, that spewed toxins and forced people to evacuate. Bob Barker of Grandview, Missouri, just 20 miles south of Kansas City, has lived in Kansas City Southern tracks for over 40 years and says history is dealing with the company that keeps him calm.
They've been very courteous. They've never been obtrusive about anything, especially after the accident out in Ohio. You know, things go wrong, things get better.
So there you go. A lot of stuff going on right there as we are talking. So what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Will it be interesting? Will it not be interesting? Will it change things? It's going to be a lot of stuff going on right there for sure. Take a listen to this one. Police are investigating after a teenager was shot and killed in Brooklyn on Wednesday Andrew Whitman has more.
Officers got a call of a man being assaulted at the intersection of Saratoga Avenue and Prospect Place in Crown Heights just before 5 p.m. When they got there, they found 17-year-old Greg Bassett with a gunshot wound to his torso. He was pronounced dead at a hospital. No arrests so far. Andrew Whitman, NBC News Radio, New York.
Okay, thank you, Andrew Whitman, for that. Take a listen to this. This one's coming out of Florida. Florida ban on gender-affirming medical care for transgender youth takes effect today. Advocate Aaron Gray says that it's a horrible day for anyone who feels that they were not born in the right body.
They're taking LGBTQ plus people, they're erasing our existence at a very critical period of social and emotional development in those middle school age groups.
Proponents say that a gender-affirming prescriptions or procedures amount of serious physical harm. The ban of puberty blockers and surgery only applies to new patients. Anyone who's already being treated has been grandfathered in to continue. Doctors who violate the ban risk disciplinary action, resulting in fines and revoked licenses. The Southern Legal Council is filing a federal lawsuit challenging the restriction. Advocate Aaron Gray feels that the state is acting like a big bully.
This year, the attacks are worse. They're doubling down on them, and they're just going to push our youth even further back.
Gray claims that this puts transgender youth at risk of major depression.
Trevor Project report, the mental health survey that they take every year, reported that 50% LGBTQ youth aged 13 to 17 seriously considered attempting suicide.
So it'll be interesting times going on in Florida in regards of what is going on there. What is your thought process of it? Because that's going to be a big factor into it. Spring is here and soon temperatures will be going up. Children's Health Care of Atlanta is putting out the word of what crucial important for children to stay hydrated. Scott Kimbler just has more info.
Catherine Sherry is a registered and licensed dietitian and says kids will be active and can get overheated and maybe not quite realize it. She says you should give your kids lots of water.
Water is going to help hydrate us over other drinks, such as juice or sports drinks or energy drinks. We really just need to be having our kids drink water. Letting them pick out their own fun water bottle helps it make a little bit more exciting and willing to drink the water.
She says sometimes you can make water a little less bland by cutting up fruits like strawberries or even vegetables to add a bit of taste. Sherry strongly recommends that you stay away from carbonated drinks or too many fruit-based drinks, as the sugar content can be a bit high. I'm Scott Kimbler.
Okay, thank you, Scott Kimbler, for that information right there. So anyways, let's take a look around at some things that happened back on this date. And if we take a look at 2020, the Dow loses about 3,000 points in a single day of trading, making it the largest point drop ever. The second largest percentage drop at 12.93%. That happened back in 2020. If we're looking at some birthdays for today, let's talk about a few of them. Camilo turns 29. Blake Griffin, 34. Alexandra Daddario. Yeah, Alexandra Daddario. She turns 37 today. 37? I wouldn't have guessed that. Lauren Graham turns 56. Flavor Flav, 64. Victor Garber turns 74 today. So there you go. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, it's National Artichoke Day, National Panda Day, National No Selfie Day. Good luck with that one. National Lips Appreciation Day, and National Freedom of Information Day. So a lot of stuff to celebrate if you're looking to do that. If you need a random joke for today, of course, I have one of those for you. I love my furniture, my recliner, and I go way back. If you need a phone starter, try this one. What's one thing that you learned in high school that you still use today? I don't know if I can talk about that. So there you go. If you need something for the water cooler, try this. 20% of us will leave the house with one of these today, but they won't use it. What is it? A gym bag. Hey, I'm just saying that's what it says there. I'm not saying that you need to go to the gym. I'm just saying that most people won't use it today. That's exactly how it goes. So with that being said, that's going to end our time together. Here at the top of the hour, I will be going over to RadioBig.fm if you want to come and hang out, or if you can stay here on Safety FM and hang out with Sheldon Primus, whatever you want to do. Offer is yours. Thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener. Without you, we couldn't do what we do around here. That is for sure. If I can't leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Happiness is not the absence of problems. It's the ability to deal with them. Think about that. The ability to be able to deal with them. Anyways, I know who you are. No, seriously, I really do.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, goodbye. Make the day what you want it to be today, because those things are going to be super important.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.
The simple acts of love.